For over 5 decades, the Boeing 747 reigned supreme as the queen of the skies. It was a marvel of modern engineering, the world's first twin-aisle wide-body airliner that made global travel accessible to millions. It was loved by pilots and trusted by passengers. But with great size and complexity came unprecedented challenges. When the queen of the skies fell, the consequences were catastrophic. Today, we look at 5 tragic Boeing 747 crashes that shook the world. These aren't just stories of disaster. They are the exact moments that rewrote safety regulations and forced engineers to fundamentally change how we fly. Welcome to a deep dive into aviation history. We begin in 1971. During the early days of the 747's commercial life. Pan Am Flight 845 was departing San Francisco for Tokyo. Due to a series of miscommunications between the dispatch and the flight crew, the pilot selected a runway that was far too short for a fully loaded 747. As the massive jet roared down the tarmac, the pilots realized they were running out of concrete. At the very edge of the runway, the plane hit the approach lighting structures. Huge steel beams tore through the fuselage, crippling 3 out of 4 hydraulic systems and severely injuring passengers in the cabin. Miraculously, the pilots managed to get the damaged giant into the air, dump fuel, and return for a terrifying emergency landing. While everyone survived, this event exposed a critical flaw. The 747's hydraulic lines were grouped too closely together. The lesson. This crash forced Boeing to redesign and reroute the aircraft's hydraulic systems, ensuring that a single localized impact could never fully blind the plane's controls again. On July 17, 1996, TWA Flight 800, a Boeing 747 bound for Paris, exploded in mid-air just 12 minutes after takeoff from JFK Airport, killing all 230 people on board. The explosion was so violent that conspiracy theories about missiles and bombs circulated for years. However, the NTSB launched one of the most extensive investigations in history, literally rebuilding the shattered plane from pieces recovered from the Atlantic Ocean. The truth was terrifyingly mundane. The center wing fuel tank was mostly empty, filled with highly flammable fuel vapors. Due to a short circuit in the aging wiring of the fuel gauge system, a tiny spark was sent directly into the tank. In a fraction of a second, the center of the Queen of the Skies turned into a bomb. The lesson. TWA Flight 800 changed aircraft manufacturing forever. It led to strict new regulations regarding wiring inspection and, most importantly, the development of fuel tank inerting systems, which pumped nitrogen into empty tanks to eliminate explosive vapors. In May 2002, China Airlines Flight 611 was climbing over the Taiwan Strait when it suddenly disintegrated at 35,000 feet. There was no severe weather, no engine failure, and no distress call. 225 lives were lost in an instant. When investigators found the tail section on the ocean floor, they discovered a hidden horror. 22 years earlier, in 1980, this exact plane had suffered a minor accident where its tail scraped the runway during landing. The repair job was supposed to involve cutting out the damaged metal sheet and replacing it. Instead, engineers simply placed a metal patch over the damage, hiding a web of structural cracks underneath. For over 2 decades, every time the plane pressurized and depressurized, those hidden cracks grew wider until the entire tail section finally ripped apart mid-flight. The lesson. This tragedy completely overhauled how airlines conduct structural maintenance and non-destructive testing on older aircraft. It proved that a shortcut taken in a maintenance hangar today can become a death sentence 20 years later. Ranked as the deadliest single aircraft accident in history, Japan Airlines Flight 123 is a story of incredible pilot heroism and systemic failure. In 1985, a Boeing 747-SR suffered a massive explosive decompression just 12 minutes after takeoff from Tokyo. The explosion blew off the aircraft's vertical stabilizer, the tail fin, and severed all 4 hydraulic lines. The plane was completely uncontrollable. For 32 agonizing minutes, the pilots fought a desperate battle, using only asymmetrical engine thrust to steer the falling giant. Despite their superhuman efforts, the 747 crashed into the mountains of Mount Takamagahara. Out of 524 people on board, remarkably, 4 passengers survived. The cause? Similar to China Airlines, a faulty bulkhead repair performed by Boeing technicians 7 years earlier failed under pressure. The lesson. JAL 123 forced the aviation world to implement hydraulic fuses. Today, if a hydraulic line is severed, these fuses instantly lock down the leak, preserving fluid for the remaining functional systems so pilots can still steer the plane. The deadliest aviation disaster in history didn't happen high in the sky, but on a foggy runway on a small island. On March 27, 1977, 2 fully loaded Boeing 747s, one belonging to KLM and the other to Pan Am, collided head-on at Tenerife Airport, killing 583 people. Heavy fog had reduced visibility to near zero. Due to congested radio frequencies, confusing terminology, and a senior KLM captain who was under immense pressure to take off, the KLM 747 began its takeoff roll without official clearance. The Pan Am 747 was still taxiing on the exact same runway. By the time the KLM pilot saw the Pan Am jet through the fog, it was too late. The heavy jumbo jet smashed through the other, creating a massive inferno. The lesson. Tenerife completely revolutionized aviation culture. It led to the creation of CRM, Crew Resource Management. Co-pilots were finally empowered to challenge senior captains if they felt a mistake was being made. It also standardized aviation language worldwide, ensuring that words like takeoff are only used during actual clearance. The Boeing 747 is retiring from commercial fleets, leaving behind an unmatched legacy. The Queen of the Skies was a triumph, but its history reminds us that aviation safety is written in blood. Every restriction we face at airports today, every checklist a pilot reads, and every alarm in a modern cockpit exists because of the lessons learned from these tragedies. What do you think is the most critical safety feature on modern planes? Let us know in the comments below. If you respect the history of flight and want more deep dives like this, hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and stay safe on your next journey. I'll see you in the next one.